Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about a JSON database server that I have developed using Node and Express. In this first part video, I will present the client side. I will show how to create a database, then how to create an index table, how to insert a JSON document into that index table, how to search for a JSON document, to update JSON document, and how to delete JSON document. Okay, so to start the process, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to launch the server, the database server. To launch the database server, I'm going to open node command, and I'm going to go to launch that server. So there is a directory called orange.db.js. And this is the server. To launch it, node.js, app.js. So as we see right now that the server is running and is listening on port 3400. I'm going to leave this window here on the left side as the server side. And I'm going to open another window on the right side for the client. You're going to go to the same directory, data, used to Linux anyway. So let's go to orange.db.js client. So in the client side, we're going to see there are two documents. So now I'm going to open the Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to open, okay, this one here. We're going to open the client here. So the client we have, as I said, we have two files. We have the documentation here that give us the idea or the description of the API we're going to use to query the server. And here we have the functions or the methods we're going to use to query the server. Mainly, we're going to use this method here. First of all, as you see, the host we are querying is the local host, and the port it's 3400. Mainly, it is this server here. So now, to start, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a file, an empty file, and I'm going to call it create database. .js. Okay, this create database.js, what we're going to do, because I want to query the server, so I need to require the module HTTP request. This one here. H capital request equal require then I have to, I'm going to copy just the documentation that's going to help me to write the code. This is the syntax of the query. I'm going to just put it here, at the bottom here. So in the syntax, and the more that, so I have to use this method here. So I'm going to copy this method. That's the one I'm going to use to query the server. And I have a callback. Perfect. The result is going to be in var data. Gonna be result here. As you see, the request has to have a header and a body. It's going to be an object. Body of the request is going to be another object too. Now, if I go to the API, the request of the header has to contain two properties. The first property is the header, the request header. I'm going to copy this here. And that header has to be create database, capital. And another property should be request type. And it should be API. Okay. The body, as you see, has to contain a request body. And that request body is an object. Contain the property database. And the value of that property is the name of the database we want to create. I want to create a database, call it customers. Okay, customers. So when we send the query to the server will respond, and response will be in var data. And that response will contain a property here called error. I'm gonna check on this property. It's gonna be var data. If the error is false, that means there is no error. If error is true, that means there's an error. So console, write to the console, no error or success. If there is an error, okay, and that's it. So I'm going to delete this part because I'm going to delete this. Save this, and let's launch this module on the client side. If I go to the client side, you're going to see there is a new file called create database. So I'm going to launch that one. Node create database. .js. It should create a database on the server side. To create a database on server side, I'm going to go to the server side. If I go to the server side, data, the server side, this is the server. I'm going to go to public, upload, db root. Database should be created here. Folder called customer should appear here. So let's launch this one here. So as you see on the client side, we get a success. That means the database is created. On the left side, we see there is a folder has just been created and folder called customers. So right now we have just created a new database and we call it customers. I'm going to create a new index.table. To do that, I am going to open a new file. And I'm going to call that file create table. I'm going to just copy this template from the previews file. And I'm going to go to my documentation to get the syntax. I'm going to copy this part. So as you see, the first thing I need to change is the header. Create table. And you see in the body of the request, we have many properties. We have the database, but we have more than that. I'm going to copy those fields or those properties here. So the name of the table, I'm going to call it TB customers. The block, I'm going to come back to it in a moment, in a second. Then the maximum of this index, it's a tree index. And each node, I'm going to say it should contain objects. And every document, the maximum size of every document, let's say 1,000 characters. 1,000 characters by 100 documents is going to be 100,000. The fields here we put the ID. It's going to call it customer ID. The name of the data file is going to be the data and the index on the same file. It's going to be TB customers. The transaction ID is going to be 0. Okay? I'm going to remove this syntax from here. So right now, I'm going to save. Right now, what we have, let's go to the client side. So in the client side, there is a file. I'm going to call node create table.js. Okay. When I'm going to launch this module, normally the table should be created inside this folder here. We will see, and we have to get success in the client side. So in the client side, we get success, and we get the confirmation on the server side with the index is created, and the table is created with the extension XLB. That means it's an index table. So right now, we create a table. We create a database, then we create an index table. Now what we're going to do, we're going to insert a JSON document inside this index table. I'm going to go back to the code, to the client code. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it insert JSON. .js. I'm going to insert one JSON document. I'm going to go to the table we created. I'm going to copy this template because this is the same we're going to keep using. I'm going to go to my, I'm going to copy the insert here. Give me an idea, the syntax I'm going to use to insert the document. So the first thing we have to change, as we did last time, I'm going to change the index insert. We're going to insert a data or a document inside an index. Okay? As you see here, we need the table, we need the database, we have it. We need the table, what do you want to insert? We have it. But this time we need two more things, but we need the key value, the key we want to add, and we need the document itself. So the key, as we say, it has to be customer ID. This is the ID. Let's assume the ID is 1001. That's the ID, the document you want to enter. Then the value is the document itself. So here, let's say the document is going to be name. Let's keep it that way. And the name, I'm going to say it's the name, it's Paul David Tree, David Street, or Main Street. And we keep the transaction ID. Let's remove the syntax from here. Put it this way. Go back to the client. I put So we have insert json.js. In the client side, we're going to see success. On the server side, as you see, the size here is 1 kilobyte. I don't know if it's going to change or not, but I think it's going to change because there is a new document added. But we're going to look for that document later. You see here, the success, we get the success. That means document is added. Look at the size of the file. Before it was just 1 kilobyte, but now it's 2 kilobyte. That means something happened inside the document. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to add, let's say, 10,000 documents. I'm going to write a code, let's go back to the, I'm going to create another document, another file. I'm going to call it inserts. I'm going to call it insert many json.js. Okay, I'm gonna copy the same template here. Now a variable called var keys. It's going to be an array. It's going to be another array here. I'm going to call it values, and I'm going to build them. And I'm going to create another variable, call it index. Give it 0. Now I'm going to do a loop, for loop, x equals 0, x, let's say 10,000. I'm not going to say 100, but 10,000 documents I'm going to try to add. X here. I'm going to just copy this key and I'm going to add something to it. Here the key, I'm going to say plus x, but here I'm going to go from 2. And we have, I'm going to copy this value here. I'm going to add something to it. So in that time, I'm going to keep it that way, but I'm going to add just x here to give something different. And here, I'm going to add x in the front instead to put, this is give you the street number. I'm going to create another function, var insert. This function, I'm going to give it no parameters. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all this code here. I'm going to put it inside the function, okay? It's going to be the key. Put the key here. Oops. But the end is going to be var index. Hit it here. Index. So get success, you're going to give me the ID, or I'm going to call it customer rank. So I'm going to put customer rank is going to be var index. I'm going to increase that index by 1. every time. And I'm going to test, I'm going to check if var index is less than the values size or length, else so here we're going to call the function again until the last document. We are done. Function, what it does, basically it's going to add one after one, one document after another until they add them all we need. Then we get the message we are done. Now we have to launch this, we have to call this function for insert like this. Let me see this. Let's test it and let's run it on the client side. If I go to the client side, you're going to see there is insert menu. It's going to be node insert many JSON.js. Okay, we will see what's going to happen, because two things we will see on the server side, because we're going to send the menu requests one after one inside, but in the same time we will see that the size of the documents is increasing. So let's see what's going to happen. Here we are. Look at the documents. Look at the documents. It's going up. Now we are 700, 1000 documents added. Now 1500, 600, 700, 2000 documents we are adding there. 2000, close to 3000 documents. 3000. Right now we are 3000. 4000. 5000 documents added. We are done. So then in the total we have 10,001 documents. So we have just added 10,001 documents in that table. So right now what we're going to do, we're going to start doing some searching documents inside this database, specifically in this table customer that we have just created. To do that, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to give it a name, search JSON.js. I'm going to copy this template here. And I'm going to go to my documentation to get the search API syntax. Gonna put it inside here. So the first thing we have to do is to change the header. So the header has to be index search instead of index insert. And then I have some properties that I have to add to the query, to the body. First of all, we need the database, we need the table, but I'm going to remove this thing, those properties from here, and I'm going to go through the new ones one by one. So the table is there. First of all, the start key. Customer ID, let's say equal from 2000. Okay, the end key, this is a range. customer ID, let's say 100,000. It's more than what we have, but doesn't matter. Because here we specify a range. Do you want to go with the range? Yes, I'm going to go with the range. Does you give me many? We're going to put true. Give it true. When you get all that, it's going to be thousands there. Show me just the first 5. Okay? What the direction? I'm going to get ascendant from the lowest to the highest. Are you going to use filter? No, I'm not going to use filter now. So the filter object is going to be empty. So where the results going to be? So the results going to be in var data. Then it's going to be in response. Then it's going to be in result. Then search data. So I'm going to delete these parts. I don't need it anymore. Okay. So I'm looking for data or documents, their ID between 2000 and 100,000. But I asked the system just to show me just the first ones. That's it. Okay? So let's execute this. So it's going to be node.js. Here we are. As you see, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get just the first 5 elements from 2000 to 2004. If I change the request and I say descendant, so you're going to give me the result from the end. As you see, it does give me 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but from the end of the search. If I want to get just one specific document, I'm going to say here, no range, but I'm going to keep this one as ascendant, but it's going to give me just the 2000 document. You're going to look just for the 2000 document. You're going to give me just the 2000 document. Let's try it. You see? I just get just 2000 documents. I need just one. No range, and I specified which documents I'm looking for. I hope this clarified how the process of searching documents inside this database. After we added thousands of documents to this database and we search for some of them, now let's update some documents. So to do that, first I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it update json.js. For this, I am going just to copy this, or let's pick up the insert one. It's very close. Insert to update. Then I'm going to go to the API syntax. I'm going to copy this. So the first thing I have to do is to change the header. It's going to be update or index update. Then I have some properties to add. the database, I need the database, need the table, I need the key to update. We keep the key, but I need the value to update, and I need update value. I'm going to show what's the difference between value and update value. If I go back to the search we did, if you look here, we have the key. It is an object, and we have the value, the V. The V is the value, is the document itself. So the value updated the V, the document itself, but the update value update the key. Updates the key. I'm not going to update the key now, but I'm going to just update the value. So to update the value, there is a specific syntax, because I don't want to update all the fields or all the properties in the document, but I want to update just some of them, So let's assume I want to update the name. The syntax should be this way. Have a table. I have to give him an action. It's going to be equal. Then I give the value I want to give it there. So let's the value, for example, this is a name. I'm going to call it Michael. Maybe Michael David instead of Paul, whatever it was the name before. That's it. And the address, let's change the address to something else. Before it was Main Street, I'm going to put Lake Street, Lake Avenue. Okay? But more than that, I want to add to this document the city. I want to add the city because it was no city before in the documents, but I'm going to add the city. It's going to be equal. What the name of the city? Whatever. I'm going to give it NO. So what I'm doing here, the document I'm going to show is 2000. That's the document I want to update. So I'm going to remove this here. Okay. So what I'm doing, let's try this. We get a success. So to make sure everything is good, we're going to go to the search, and we search for that document again to see if things has been changed. Look what's happened. So now the document is changed, the value is changed, the ID, the key state, it's the same, but the value of the document is changed. The name changed, the address changed, and we added another property to the document. It is the city. Now the time is come to delete documents. So to do that, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it delete documents or delete JSON. So to do that, I'm going to copy the same template again. Go to my documentation to pick up the delete parts. Here we are. So as you see, first of all, I have to change the header. Okay. Then I have to, I need the database to do some, to update the body request. Need the table. I need the key that I want to delete, and that's it. I need no values. I need no delete value. That's all I need. So what I want to do, I want to delete the document ID 2000. If there is a success, I'm going to get the success. If it is error, I'm going to get an error. That's simple. Okay? To delete it, I give just the ID of the document that I want to delete, and that's it. That's all I need. So let's go to the client here. So the client, there is delete json.js. If I click success, now I deleted the document 2000. Now let's go to the search again to see if the document stays there. There is no document. You see, the results, it's empty. That means the document is gone. That means the document is gone. Now, what I want to do after that, we did many operations on this data, on this table database. Let's do something else. Specifically, sometimes we want to know, because we delete the documents, maybe we can delete many of them. But at the end, we don't know how many documents left inside this table. So to do that, I'm going to create another file, and I save it. I'm going to call it count JSON. How many JSON documents are in that table? I'm going to pick up this template. I'm going to go to my documentation. There is a count IPI syntax. The same thing as delete. I need the database, I need the table, but I need something else called type. What type of table we are searching, or we are working with? So the table, as you see, if I go to the index is XLB. So that's we're talking about XLB. That's the type. That's the name, that's the type. The result, which is going to be, it's going to be in, I'm going to call it this way, count. I'm going to put just count. They give me the number of documents inside that table. Dot response dot results and dot count. But before I save, I have to remove. Okay, so let's execute this. The main thing we want to know how many documents left in this table. So let's go to here. Count JSON. I have an error here. I have to see. I didn't change delete. I made a mistake. It has to be count. So it has to be count here. That's okay. We corrected. No problem. So let's go again. Here we are. 10,000 documents. Why 10,000 documents? Because remember, we create one at the beginning, one document. Then we added 10,000. Then we updated one. And then we removed one. And at the end, how many left? It's 10,000 documents. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to create another document. We're looking for the first document. I'm going to create another document. I'm going to call it first. JSON.js. I'm going to copy this one here. Same template. I'm going to go to my syntax, give me the first document, or the first JSON document. So here, we need the, as you see in the syntax, I have to change the header. It's going to be get the first document. I need the table, I need the database, I need the table, I need the type, and I need the transaction. All of them are there. The only thing was going to be, I'm going to remove this one here, and this one has to be first. They give me the first document. That's it. I'm going to remove that one. Now it's going to give me, we're going to try to see what is the first document. Go back here. First JSON.js. Here is the first document. Do you remember? This is the first document we entered at the beginning of this video. Now, let's go to look for the last document. I'm going to create another document here. New. I'm going to save it. Last JSON.js. Okay. I'm going to copy, because there is no big changes here to make. I'm going to copy this. So here is going to be, instead to be first, I'm going to do is going to be last. And here is going to be last document. So let's execute this module again. Last JSON.js. This is the last one. This is the last document. This is the, now let's assume sometimes we're gonna get not the last, not the first, not the last one. We'll get the 5th document or the 100th document. So let's create another file, and I'm gonna call it item JSON.js or rank, whatever, keep it that way. I'm gonna take this syntax, this template. I'm gonna keep using it. It's easy. I'm gonna go to the documentation I have, and I have the last one is items. I call them items. Oops. Put it back. Okay. Put this syntax here. So first of all, I have to change the header. The body, here the body. We need the database, it's there, the table is there, the type of the table is there, but we need the items that we want to look for. Let's go here. What that means, this is, I'm looking for the fifth one, the 100th one, and 2000th one. But so what they're going to be, they're going to be here in item keys. So let's look at them. I'm looking for 3 here, but 3 in different ranks, different places. Not in a range, but in different places here. So let's execute this. So node.json.js here. So the result is clear. We get 3 documents, the 5th one, the 100th one, and the 2000th one. With this is the end of this video. I hope it was useful, and see you in the next one. Have a nice day.